FLH.
FLH. Thanks, dude. Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Tyler. I'm here with Tyler Kirtley, and today we're going to talk about his 1957 FLH Panhead chopper. Over the years, Tyler and I have gone on tons of trips together, and I've probably ridden with him on the last 5 different bikes now, I would say.
Sounds right.
And it's pretty cool because each one is, slightly different, but you could kind of all tell they were built and owned by the same dude, which is something I've really liked kind of about a consistent style he's kept through, whether it was with his iron head or with his cone shovel and then the last few generator bikes. Yeah. So tell us about this thing a little bit.
I had this drivetrain in that the long bike with the coffin tank, and I took it on a couple long trips, and it was comfortable, but after a long time I felt like really cramped in that sitting position, and I was just kind of like, I just kind of wanted something better for long trips and a little bit more practical. I still have that roller. I'll do something with it eventually, but I had a bunch of parts besides the frame, and that's it. I had and most of these parts came from all of my friends, which is pretty cool. And I laid everything out in my garage, and I was like, I think I have enough for this whole thing if I just buy another frame. So it worked out pretty cool. Shai made me those really cool risers. That was awesome. He was super receptive. I was texting him all the time, different sizes. It went from 2 inches to 4 inches to 3 inches to 5 inches, because I was trying to figure out how to clear the tank with the pullback. And then Cody made those Springer balls for me, made them to fit those Flanders risers, which was rad. I got the front end from Honey Boo Boo Dave, part of it, and then the rest of it came from Austin. The front wheel came from Dave. It's a skinny Hap Jones rim on a Star Hub. That rear wheel came from that dude Connor in the Valley. Tommy Boy gave me the belt shroud. Tommy Boy from KC. He made the pegs. Elias in Canada made that really cool sissy bar. I asked him and he was so down. He's a really talented fabricator, did it right away. Brown River made the seat. Yeah, it was really fun putting it together. Austin and Christian came over a bunch, and we just put it together really fast.
Yeah.
We probably put it together in a month or so.
Rad.
So that was really fun. That was probably the most fun I have had putting a bike together. And then Mike Olson did the motor work for me. Yeah, it's been really fun to ride a mellow stance bike again.
Yeah, because you were on that long, what was that? It was slightly deraked, but then it was 8 or 10 over, or maybe even 12.
It was stock rake, about 5 or 6 up in the frame. It was lowered in the rear, and then the wide glide was 10 over.
Oh, okay.
But it rode it handled like a stock bike because of those dimensions, but it just you're sitting really tight, and it was fun. I could rip it around town and rip it around corners and stuff, but it was low, so in the mountains I would scrape a lot, and then I didn't want to go longer on the front end, and I didn't want a taller rear wheel. I didn't want to fuck up the dimensions of it, so it was kind of I don't know, I get so obsessive, and I think about stuff too much, and I'm I don't want to fuck up the stance, and I was I'm just gonna put something else together, which I probably shouldn't because it hurt my pocket a little bit, but but luckily, like I said, I had a lot of those parts, and friends really hooked it up on a lot of this shit, so that was really rad.
Yeah, and this is the motor you got from Colorado, right? 57?
Yes. Cody actually sent me a link on Facebook because I was looking for a motor, and I couldn't find anything locally that wasn't just a piece of shit. And he sent me that motor, and it was super bitchin'. It was fully rebuilt. It came with a generator and a carb, and I paid Bo Alvin to go get it for me. I gave him $100 for gas, and he picked it up. He just made sure it was all legit. Wasn't a bunch of bullshit parts. And then Pookie drove it out for me when he moved out here for a little while, and I gave him the carb that it came with for picking it up. So it just kind of worked out, you know?
There you go.
Yeah. And then I repurposed quite a few parts from that last bike as well. Like I said, the drivetrain obviously, and the oil bag, and the exhaust, the taillight mount, the headlight, and that's it. The wheels, they're the same wheel dimensions. It's a 16 rear with an 18 in the front, which I thought was kind of weird, but it like looked kind of cool.
Yeah.
It was too low with the stock front end, so I had to get 2 over tubes.
Yeah, the 2 over with the 18 creates a really cool stance. I don't know if I've ever really seen, like I have a 19 on my wide glide, but it's deraked and it's stock length. But I feel like they kind of sit, at least frame height. Like our bikes sit very similar how far they are from the ground.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I don't know. I like how low it is. I'm not like tippy toeing around. Like I don't like when you're sliding back in the seat, you know, you're kind of just, I don't know, like planted there, and the bike's really nimble. It's fun.
And you did the 2 petcocks?
The 2 petcocks, because I got that Sportster tank at the El Camino swap meet, and it has like the British cap, but then it also has British petcock bungs. And that was like, it was such a nightmare for me to figure that out, because I didn't really think about that. I'm like, what size are these? I didn't think that they were British. And then I went to an old Mini Cooper shop over here in Costa Mesa, and the dude like figured it out for me. And then there was a Triumph shop in Costa Mesa, and they had 2 brand new Triumph petcocks, and I just bought them there.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, it was so cool. And then Taylor Crawford painted that tank, and he painted my lady's name on it too, which was really cool. He didn't even charge me for that. That was awesome.
No way.
Yeah, Taylor's the man. Really good at pinstriping. He's always down to do weird stuff.
That's cool. Where'd you get the tool bag from?
Dude, I don't know. I actually, I had that, square one that I always used to run, and I was like, I don't really like it on the sissy bar. It's kind of bulky. And I just found that, under my cabinets in my garage, and I was like, oh, that's fucking perfect. I have no idea where that came from. I probably had that for, 10 years.
Wow. That's awesome. Let's talk about, just a little bit about your relationship with bikes and kind of how you got started, and then, you went from... When we first met, you had that rigid iron head.
Yeah, I had an Evo Sportster before that for a little while. It was my first bike. I bought it off my dad's, this dude that tattooed with my dad at the time, and he was selling it. I was getting into bikes. I didn't even know what I wanted, I didn't really know anything about bikes. I have no, my family doesn't have much history with bikes. My uncle rode in the 70s, but nothing that made me into it, you know?
Yeah.
And I didn't have any friends that were into bikes. But yeah, I bought that Sportster, and it was fun. But then I started going to the swap meet, buying parts for that, and I saw all the old stuff, and I knew Scotty Stopnick and those dudes from skating as a kid, and I saw their stuff, and I just got really into it. Also, that America Wild Ride back in the day really got me stoked on bikes.
Do you remember, I forget what it was called, but I think it was an Epically Later where they did Baja on bikes, and Harley gave them all bikes.
Yeah, I don't know the details about that, but I totally remember that.
And then there was I just remember one of the dudes went down on a dirt road, and he said he was going 70. And,
oh my God.
Totally ate it. But that was one of the series that I would watch that got me really into bikes. It was the America's Wild Ride, and then
they had an Epically Later for the Wild Ride also.
Oh, okay. So
yeah, those were so cool, and it was a handful of the skate team got Harleys. I think they got deals on Harleys from Glendale Harley because they had a connection there.
Sick.
And yeah, that shit was so rad because I grew up on skating and the bike thing. And they mixed bikes and skating, and I was like, dude, this is so cool. I was like, a skateboard strapped to the sissy bar looks so cool, you know? But now I don't really do that. I'm it's kind of an extra, but yeah, that's about it. And then I got that. I sold that Sportster to buy a truck for work because I was commuting, and the truck blew up in a month. So I sold my Sportster to buy this truck. It blew up, and then I was just out $4,000. And then I had to like save up, and I bought that Ironhead Project. It was such a weird bike when I got it. It was like, there was like, for the oil bag, it was like a fucking, it looked like a hydro flask, dude. And it was like welded to the frame with chain. It was insane, dude. It had so much insane stuff on it, but I got it for cheap, and it ran really good. And my buddy Tracy was like, dude, I'm down to help you like build a chopper out of this. And I'm like, dude, I'm stoked. That sounds awesome. And we did that, and it went through a couple different phases. And then at the time, selling a Ironhead chopper for $6,000 in like what, 2017 or something. I was so fucking stoked on that.
Yeah.
And then built that cone shovel. And then
the cone shovel, didn't you break your arm right when you finished it?
Yeah. The first time I rode it, I had a broken arm, and that was crazy because we rode to San Pedro up in those hills.
Yeah, because I think I have a video of you riding with a cast on.
Yeah, like shifting with a cast. The first time I rode it, we went to San Pedro, and I had a cast on. I learned how to ride foot clutch on like that day. It was insane, dude. Remember on the hills, and like Danny was behind me with like putting his wheel against my wheel so I wouldn't fucking die and roll backwards. Dude, it was so funny. But it was like, I love like looking back at that stuff. It's so rad. I sold that thing so shortly after. Like Cody pretty much convinced me to sell it. He was like, dude, just sell it. Like we'll build like a generator bike. And I was like, are you sure? Like I was so nervous because I just put so much work into this. I made payments on that cone shovel from Skip. And then, yeah, Cody convinced me to sell it. Martin, rest in peace, like got it the next day, sold it to Japan, and then we built that 48 pan shovel. Like it was a mystery motor I got from James, and it was like amazing. Yeah. I never had to do any work to that motor.
That bike ran so good.
Yeah, and Cody helped me so much. He sold me so much shit for like a really good price. We painted it in my parents' backyard. We made a booth. I had fucking clear coat stuck to the hairs on my arms for like 2 weeks, and we spray painted it with Montana graffiti paint. And I was like, oh, do I need to wait for next coat? And you know, Cody's like, fuck it, just keep going, dude. Like, it was so fun, dude. That bike was, I probably should have never sold that bike because it was so good.
Well, I remember you sold that bike, and then you bought the long bike like pretty quickly after, right?
Dude, like a month later.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bought it off Stefan, my buddy in San Francisco. And I rode it like that for a while. I mean, I rode it like that the whole time. And I got the top end done. Wesley did a bunch of aluminum work on the heads.
I think it's cool that like you've put together so many of your own bikes, but then also that bike came along and you bought it and just rode it like that.
Dude, it was like, it's so fun to like piece together a bike. But like, I thought that bike was so cool, but that it was also like a weird thing for me to do, was to buy this bike that was done. And then because, you know, like everywhere you go, like at a gas station or something, like, oh, did you build this bike, dude? Like, and then I'm like, I have to say no, because I didn't, you know, and that was just a weird thing.
Yeah.
You know, but, yeah, that thing is really cool. Yeah, like I said, I still have the roller. It's in storage. I'll probably put some, I don't know, I was thinking about putting maybe some like aftermarket generator motor in it or something that I don't like need to trip on.
Yeah.
Something I can get for a good deal. But not right now. I just need to enjoy this thing.
Yeah, I think, I mean, there's like a handful of bikes that I feel like if the opportunity came along, I would want to buy and just like ride as is. Like,
it was such a cool experience, but like, even though I didn't build it or put it together, whatever you want to call it, I still like put so much work into it.
Yeah.
Like Cody did the top end for me, like, and then we like put it back together at the shop, and like I said, Wesley did those fins. Phil at Cycle Works rebuilt the transmission. So there was like a lot of work going on. But the absolute worst thing about that bike was the juice drum. I don't know why everyone says those are good, but I could never get it to work good. The backing plate was always warped. I went through like 2 different brake setups. It was kind of a nightmare.
Yeah, I've never ran a bike with a juice drum, but I feel like, yeah.
A lot of people that have them say that they're awesome, and I believe them. I just had a terrible time.
Yeah, the mechanical just makes so much more sense. Just like a couple bolts and you're good to go.
It's just easier. I mean, it is scary. I mean, when I left Kevin's house that one year, the brake rod popped out at a light, and I had to just like get on the sidewalk, and it was the brake stay bent and like broke, and then the rod pulled out, and like the brake pedal went all the way to the floor.
God.
And then like I was at Kevin's house like going back and forth for 2 days like trying to fix it.
I don't even remember that.
I was in his garage like cutting holes through the primary, trying to like make it easier to work on and then put it back together. And then I realized after I did all that work, the brake stay was broken. I couldn't even ride it home. I had to get picked up. It was insane.
Oh my goodness. What do you think of all the like trips we've been on or you've been on or anything? Do you have any like specific memories that stick out to you that are kind of like...
I mean, I think that last trip we went on in the summer for my birthday was the best trip I've ever been on. Like, that was so fun, dude. Like, it was like almost all old bikes, and everybody's bike made it besides Germ because he left early.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was amazing. It was like 800 to 1,000 miles like up the coast. We ended up, the last spot was, the farthest we went up was like Santa Cruz Mountains, but we took the long way for whatever reason to every place we went. Like that dude, it's so funny hearing Christian talk about that crazy road Dennis made us take. And it was like 60 miles, and it like felt like you were riding in like Tijuana for 60 miles, dude. And like, I don't remember the exact thing, but Christian like hit a bump and he ends up like in the weeds, and like Dennis is looking back at him, and Christian's like trying to get back on the road, and he like safely makes it. But I'm just like, dude, yeah, I'm like on a swing arm dyna. This road's probably rad, but like I needed like chiropractor work after that. It was insane.
Didn't Christian do a full wall ride?
Yeah, dude, something like that. I wish he was here to tell the story better, but like, yeah, it was pretty sketch, dude.
What
And your push rods are just falling out of the bike, but it still works.
I don't know how my bike. I mean, there's like got to be no oil left in it.
Your bike's invincible. I say this all the time. The people that care the least about like maintenance, their bike always works. Like,
Yeah.
And then I'm like always tripping on everything, and then I'm always fixing stuff, which I probably don't even have to do. I just do it because I'm fucking crazy. I don't know.
What moving back to the 57, do you have any, like, what do you think? I mean, there's so many cool details on it, you know, the pinstriping, the 18 in the front, the combo with Cody and Shy with the risers, and then Elias's sissy bar. But what part do you think is your favorite part on it?
Nothing's like super crazy, you know, because I didn't want to like go that route, but dude, honestly, the sissy bar I think is my favorite part. Like, I've always really liked Elias's bike. I've been like following that dude like pretty much since I got into bikes, and I always thought that sissy bar on like a short bike looked so cool. And then like I just met him in the summer, and I was like, dude, the sissy bar is so rad. Like, I've always wanted one of these. Like, I can't find one. He's like, dude, I'll make it for you, no problem. I'm like, are you sure? He's like, yeah, dude. And it was super affordable. And Keo actually, I got that fender from Keo, and like I told him the fender, I told him the wheel size, and like he sent it to me, and everything mounted up fucking perfect.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was really cool of him to do that. And then I don't know, I might change a couple of minor things, but that's about it.
I think that about covers it.
Yeah, I mean, unless you have any other questions.
I think we're good, dude. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Oh.
Sorry if I talked your ear off.
Amazing. Check.